Hello and welcome to I Can't Believe This Got Greenlit, a show where we discuss movies from our childhood, our nostalgia from watching them as kids, how they got made, and our experiences rewatching them as adults. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Warner, and joining me, as always, Matthew Pelton.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
We're back. I
don't know why I started so low. I think I've been re-listening to a lot of the episodes, and I always start with like, hi. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go, hello.
Hello.
Change it up. Keep you guessing.
Yeah, keep you guessing. Well, it's always a good time here at Greenlit. So today, it's just us.
Yeah, no guests, unfortunately.
Surprise. And we were talking about this before, but this is one of the first episodes that we've done where it's just us and we're both like in good health.
Yeah, we're not sick.
Yeah,
coming
like
back from the ER.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not like dying here. And we're talking about a pretty special film today.
Yes.
One that I have vivid memories of, like looking at, but no memory of the actual movie itself.
Okay.
We're talking about.
I kind of have the same thing.
Yeah. I just like if you tell me the thing, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, what is that though?
So we're talking about the 2006 film Over the Hedge, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, now this is one, and actually, we were going to have a guest, and the guest is the same guest that we couldn't get for Flushed Away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same exact guest.
I completely forgot about that. That's
so
funny.
I was like, hey, if you were to pick a second movie, because me and you ended up doing Flushed Away anyway, I was like, what would you pick? She said Over the Hedge.
Right.
And then again, she could not be here.
Right.
So we're doing another one of her movies.
But funny enough, we both, right?
Yeah.
Have like childhood stories
This was
around
one
This is like both
that was on my
for
list.
us. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because it's not like the guest chose it and then we're here like, oh, we've never seen this movie.
No, it's one we
works
both
out
know.
where
It was kind of perfect.
for the show, which is wonderful.
So I guess thank you to the guest.
Yeah, thank you to the guest for giving us two movies. Well, because we were going to do these movies anyways.
Yeah, they were on the list.
I'm glad that they came in season one because I know specifically Over the Hedge was one where I was like, we started out in mostly live action. Sometimes we delved in, like Hop was like half and half.
Half.
But now we're just on this animation kick, which is awesome. I love it.
I don't know the next time we're going back to live action.
Yeah, spoiler alert, next week is also animation.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But this was one of the ones where I was like, okay, once we get into animation, it's going to be hard to get out just because there's so many from 2000 until, 2015 even.
Because this movie's on Netflix.
Right.
So if you
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. But if you go to Netflix and when you finish it, there was like, hey, titles related. And there was like 5 or 6 where I'm like, oh my God, those are all episodes right there.
I added 3
See?
after this
there you
movie
go. Like,
to the list.
And
the list,
animation forever.
I thought we were going to not run out of movies because I know that was a worry for you in the beginning of this.
Yeah, I've quickly learned that it's not a worry. But
dude, the list, every time we do one episode, 3 more get tacked on to like the end.
Crazy.
And I'm like, and we have an announcement for the summer that we'll get to in later episodes.
Yeah, that'll probably be next week.
But hopefully the show is live on the air again next semester.
Yep.
And we are happy that this is, going to continue on hopefully in the future. But the list is just ever growing.
It's
and I'm
insane.
glad that we got to this now because this is one of the ones similar to Shark Boy and Lava Girl where I was like, this is like the crux of the show.
It's a big one.
I don't know how this got made. I want to get into the production of it. I want to rewatch it because this is one of the things where I haven't watched this since I was a kid. Unlike Chicken Little, which I watched like fairly recently.
Last week.
Last week, but then also like before that. But this one I literally have not watched since I was a child.
Same. Yeah,
so
I think I
watched
watched
one of
it
those things maybe twice.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah.
I will say, just speaking about the movies of this show, because it is insane, as I think like 2 weeks ago, me and Nick did the math. Because we have a big list. I made a list and I basically just gave him my movies so that he has like the master list. Right. That's what we call it, starting now. So and Nick has like the master list of movies.
I'm changing the title to the master list.
Yeah, please do. And we did the math. If we do like every week in the summer and every week for the next 2 semesters, because we're about to be rising seniors, we still will have movies left. Like we have that many. So I remember going to the show being like, what, we're each going to have like 4 or 5 movies each? Like there's no way this is going to last 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Dude, we can do like 80 of these.
Oh, dude, I just looked at the master list.
Yeah.
Capital T, capital M.
As it should be.
And we have upwards of 30.
That's insane.
Just banked. And this is not including guest episodes.
Yep.
And this is not including anything else that we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, because I already know of one that needs to be added.
Yeah. So I'm pumped. So I guess we can just jump right into childhood stories if you wanna start.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this one's a weird one because I don't think I've ever had this, but you've talked about this on the show where you have like flashes of a movie.
Yeah.
You've no idea where it's from.
Right.
I finally had that with this. Yeah,
okay.
I finally had my flash experience with Over the Hedge.
Yeah.
So I remember when the movie starts and there's like the vending machine and like the nachos, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about all of this.
Yeah, I forgot that. I didn't know that happened.
Oh, you told me. You don't remember that at all?
No.
And then like the squirrel with the whipped cream on his mouth. I was like, oh my God, this is over the hedge.
Yeah.
Like it all came back. So a couple things about this movie, which is strange because I don't think any other movie will ever fit this in terms of like Matthew Pelton's childhood.
Yeah.
Is one, like I said before, our dad would take us to every movie possible.
Our dad?
Our dad, our exclusive dad.
Mr. Warner Pelton.
Yeah. He would take me and my brother to every movie.
Yeah.
My brother, Nick Warner. And most of them, he admitted to me he would just fall asleep. It's like a kid's movie.
That's exactly why he took you.
Well, exactly. It's a nice nap. Yeah. It's like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. He's like, yeah, I remember like the first 10 minutes.
Right.
So he rewatched this
good.
one. Oh, yeah. He fell asleep at the best time.
That's a blessing.
But he rewatched this one and he's like, oh, I remember this one.
Oh, okay.
So he stayed awake.
He liked it.
Which is the ultimate praise from my father.
This is his favorite movie of all time.
It's number one. So that means this was like a Pelton staple.
Yeah.
If my dad liked it, that's how you know it was a big deal.
Boy Who Cried Werewolf and Over the Hedge.
And Over the Hedge.
Good movies.
Yeah. Thank
Good
you.
Movies, yeah.
And then my only other connection with this, though it's a weird, because I had to research this one a little bit.
Okay.
Is I remember we had the PlayStation 2 game because they made a video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we had the PlayStation 2 game because I remember the cover so clearly. It's probably still sitting in my house.
Yeah.
But I looked it up and I was looking at gameplay and I was like, I don't think I've ever played it. I think it just sat on the shelf for like years.
I
Never
thought
got
you
touched.
were going in the direction of you looked it up and it wasn't real.
No,
it didn't exist.
No, it's, I promise it's real.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. The only thing I remember from PlayStation 2, because we used to have one, is maybe this was PlayStation 3. No, it had to be PlayStation 2. Was the prequels Lego Star Wars
No
games.
way.
Yeah.
Dude, I played all of those.
And I know this is like a common trope like on the internet now, but like when I talked about this with people before this like came up on like Instagram and stuff, I like freaked out when people like agreed with this.
Okay.
The the pod races?
Yeah.
The hardest level of all time.
Easily.
It's
impossible.
I think I played it in the basement of my house with my brother, my two cousins, Michael and Drew, and like every like Thanksgiving, Christmas when we were all together.
Okay.
And none of us
could do it.
And we would just take turns and we'd like tag team it, and like it was awful.
Well, you know what
It
happened?
was so much fun, but it was the most frustrating thing.
Okay,
like, I had stress as a child for that.
And I remember specifically like the Lego Star Wars prequel games. There's that. It's that nonsense level that's impossible to beat. So they were probably up till I was 14. Way too old to be doing this.
Yeah.
But again, me and my brother played these games, which really meant my brother would play them, and he forced me to watch. I'd be like, can I play? And he'd be like, no. And that's it. But every time we couldn't beat a level, we'd be like, Dad,
no way.
Can you do it?
And he would just do it?
He'd stay up all night. We would go to bed. He'd be on the PlayStation. We'd wake up the next morning. He's like, guys, it's done. So he mostly played the Lego Star Wars prequel games.
Oh my God.
It was not even us.
No, yeah, it was oh man, yeah. The PlayStation 2 games, they were impossible. I was actually, speaking of being too old for things, I was with Maddie this weekend.
Yes.
And
Nick's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend Maddie. And hi Maddie. And we were talking about something similar.
Okay.
Where her and I basically both kind of came to the conclusion that it was more so me, but she agreed that we both like similar things where we both like watched Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network until we were like 50, like way too old. And we were like going over, we were like, have you seen Dog with a Blog? And we're like, yeah, I love that show.
I've
we
never
were like,
heard of that.
Yeah, we were like 15, like in high school. I was like, yeah, Dog with the Blog, like let's do it. This show's awesome. And then it was
wild.
it was crazy. It was just full SpongeBob. I mean, that was more nostalgia, but it was like
That's
even
fair.
like newer like Disney Channel shows.
You were still in.
Yeah, and I was like, this is great. And then at a certain point, I was like, oh, I'm like an adult now. I should probably not.
You should stop.
And then I stopped and I like discovered like cinema, like real like movies and TV shows. And I was like, this is great.
Well, that explains a lot about you.
Yeah. It's my childhood.
Yeah.
My childlike personality. I was wearing an Incredibles 2 sweater today to make.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Actually.
Oh, thank you. I found that at like some. Dude, it was like some random store in the mall, but they
wasn't at Disney?
No,
Oh,
it was some random store at the mall, and they sold like a bunch of like NBA jerseys and like basketball shoes.
That's just random.
It was like random like streetwear, and it had nothing to do. And I saw it in the window one day. I was with my brother.
Was
and
this in Boston or Connecticut?
No, Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Yeah, at the Waterbury Mall. No, yeah, I was like fearing for my life as I was shopping.
Scariest mall
this is,
ever.
like, incredible. It's so close to shutting down. I hope
Is it?
I pray every day it shuts down. And every single day we drive by it, Maddie's like, please take me there. And I'm like, you will die.
You do not want to enter
You
that
will
building.
die.
You
Yeah.
don't.
And so we walk by this thing and Zach goes, can we please go in? And I go, I was just going to say the same thing because I saw it like,
The Incredibles
like
2.
glimmering in the window. And I was like, this is wonderful. And I picked it up, perfect size, still fits today. It was
So
wonderful.
did your brother want to go in for the Incredibles 2 thing?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
he
I
was going in
figured.
for like the rapper clothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, give me the Incredibles 2 sweater right now. And they were like, okay, it's like $10 because we don't care.
Steal.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, great.
Like, that's been sitting in the store since we started the store. Please take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hadn't noticed because I do not go to the Waterbury Mall unless I absolutely have to. And for whatever reason, we had to go that
Which
day.
no one should ever go.
Yeah, I was in full like, I was in like full like riot gear, just going into the Waterbury Mall.
Bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
You know, got a couple bodyguards. Just to be
Great.
careful.
It's like
Just be
that.
careful.
It's like that in Holy Land. Which, if you don't know
Dude.
Holy Land,
Oh, it's the best.
if you're listening, you don't know what Holy Land is, look up Holy Land USA, Waterbury, Connecticut,
Yes.
and just read the Wikipedia page. That's all I'm gonna say.
yes,
it's crazy.
Wikipedia's more detailed.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'd also recommend the Alice Obscure article because that's how I found it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's intense.
I've been a couple times. Yeah, it's just, you got to be a little
It's- yeah,
careful
it's
when you
intense.
go. But
So for me, with this movie,
right.
I watched it either. I tried to like figure out where exactly I watched it. I couldn't really remember. It was either at home or at my grandparents' house. And the
Okay.
reason I know this is because I like vividly remember the DVD cover for this movie.
Oh,
So
really?
we rented it because I know we didn't buy it because we don't have it in the house anymore.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where like I like memorized all the movies that we like had purchased.
Yeah,
It's like I
yeah.
would just watch them over and over and over. And
So that
at this
definitely
point,
wasn't one of them.
Definitely wasn't one of them. I didn't see this in theaters unless I did, and I was just way too young because this is
Just
2006. It was 4. But I do vividly remember the DVD cover
Okay.
and watching it at home. Like
Yeah.
I just remember that. I don't remember much else about the actual movie.
So you know you've seen it.
Yes, but when I think about it, I like have the like memories. Like I know that like I could picture when they were like looking at the hedge, when they're looking at
Yeah,
the
it's
big,
super tall
yeah,
and
it's
all
like
that.
massive, and
Yeah.
it's like this big towering thing. And I also remember like just the images of the faces of the characters. Like I just know
Okay.
I know the characters, I know the
Yeah,
setting.
you know what they look like. And
I
all
know
that.
it's this big towering thing. I couldn't for the life of me remember the plot until the movie started. As soon as the movie started, I was like, "Oh, this makes sense."
But actually, I got the plot wrong.
Okay.
My memory of the plot was they like for whatever reason Woody couldn't go over the hedge until like the raccoon like lets him in. They only do it once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's not at all what this movie's
I
about.
feel like for me, I remember it being like the big challenge was getting over the hedge.
Yeah.
And they never really
It's not a
go
problem at all.
over the hedge at all. They go through the
They go
hedge.
through the hedge, and
Which kinda
anyone
bothered
can
me.
do it.
Yeah, and they just and they do it so many times. I
Yeah.
remember it being like this big problem.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Do we see a different movie?
I think they might have. This might be like the director's cut.
Netflix changed it.
Yeah. Oh, and then another thing is I could never figure out what company like made this movie every time I thought about it.
It's DreamWorks, isn't it?
It is DreamWorks, but I never think like, oh, this is a DreamWorks movie. Like when I think Over the Hedge, it's like, it's just like this its own entity.
That's true.
And
Well,
I
they
would
kind
think
of have dropped it a little bit.
Right,
Yeah, they
but
don't
like
really acknowledge it.
every time I get like this, the nostalgia is like so weird behind it because I like think about it and I'm like, yes, this is like a very, it sticks out in my mind as this animated movie that I saw.
Yeah.
But I don't know what company made it.
It's this weird
I don't
enigma.
know. Yeah, and I was like, what like one-off like underground production company made this and then just like never made movies again?
Never talked about it.
Yeah, and I was like, this is crazy. And then when I found out it was DreamWorks, I saw the Universal logo go by, saw the
Yeah.
DreamWorks thing go by, and I was like, dude, no way. That's crazy.
Now, I know
I was like, blown away.
I forget what episode it was, but I know it was a clip on the Instagram. It's the only reason I remember.
Yeah.
But when we were talking
I've
about
heard
the
this too many times.
the new DreamWorks,
Yeah, the new DreamWorks
intro.
logo. Yeah, intro.
is
yeah,
this
yeah.
included?
No.
It's not.
No. Well,
What's
because
up with that?
remember Madagascar's not included either.
Oh,
Madagascar's
yeah,
way
which was
bigger than
great.
this.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, if Madagascar's not included, there's no way.
No, they definitely gave up on.
It's true. So this almost has like the Chicken Little effect, where they released it and then they have never acknowledged it again.
Right, and I'm pretty sure it made a good amount of money.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the box office. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Actually, we can get into that right now. So it had an $80 million budget,
Yep.
which is not about half of Flushed Away, and to me, it looks significantly better.
It does.
And also half
I like
of Chicken
Flushed
Little.
Away, but it definitely does.
Yeah, and half of Chicken Little. And again, I don't know how much of that is marketing and promotion for any of them.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, $80 million.
Yep.
And it grossed $340 million.
It did. It made a
Which
profit.
I think is the and don't quote me on this because I don't exactly know, but from what I remember, this is probably the highest, not grossing, but like most successful as far as how much profit they got back in the movies we've covered. Because a lot of them are either stinkers or they made like, I don't know, like $100 million. This made back like
it made
so much
money.
money.
Because again, general rule of thumb, double it for advertising, so it's $160 million for their budget. Made what, 320? You said
340.
340, yeah,
almost $200 million.
The only one that you could argue is a contender is Boy Who Cried Werewolf, just because that's such a weird one to calculate.
You can't really.
Yeah, so it's probably our winner.
Yeah,
probably our most successful film.
Yeah. And it was. Oh, hang on. We need to acknowledge something first.
What?
You have notes.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's break this down.
Okay, so here's what happened. Is a couple hours ago, me and Nick are talking,
right?
And somehow Over the Hedge gets brought up.
Yeah, somehow our episode's literally
so
in like
random.
a couple hours.
Yeah,
we're both watching it last minute. We're just like, let's talk.
I was
about
like
those.
about to start it. You were gonna watch it in an hour.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Listen, I don't have a lot of production notes."
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I was like, "I'm on it. I got it covered." So now I kind of feel like an old man because I've never done notes. I think I've done 2 episodes where I had one note each.
Yeah, I wish
singular.
anyone could see our setup right now.
I know. So just to describe it to everyone listening, Nick has like this beautiful computer. It's all laid out. He's got all his notes set up.
And my notes are labeled. So I have like what movie we're doing, childhood stories like in bold and like capital, and then production, bold, capital, and then all my notes, all that stuff,
put a lot of work into
etc.
this. I have this tiny little yellow notepad with these random scribbles of words I probably can't even read.
Old school. Yeah, I can't wait until you're like, I have something. You're like,
I don't know what I wrote. So I have 4 pages of notes. I came so
4 pages of yellow page.
Well, yeah, they're very small and I write
like
really big. So it's probably half a page.
That's awesome. No,
but
I'm
I have
excited.
Notes.
I'm excited to see what overlaps. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to start? I feel like this is a rare instance
Hang on.
where
I can jump off the budget.
Yeah.
Because I have a note about
this
the budget.
So exciting. I feel like I feel like I'm a guest.
Okay, you ready? Okay, I have.
Doing Elon talking.
Here's my note. I have 2 money signs.
Okay,
that's my way of saying this is about the budget. So I remembered. I have 2 money signs. It says equal. It says it was not a dud. I see. I can't read my handwriting. This was not a bomb like we just discussed. But it was a disappointment to DreamWorks. Like it made. Don't make fun of my notes.
I'm like almost crying. It's incredible.
It made money.
Yeah,
but not enough.
Yeah.
And especially when you compare it to the DreamWorks movies of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote them down.
So proud.
Thank you, dude. This is the best day of my life.
Oh!
Okay. So the DreamWorks movies that came out before this were like Shrek, Shrek 2, Madagascar, and there's another one I didn't write. But
Shrek 2, Welcome to the Swamp.
Shrek Swamp Years.
That's the new Shrek Swamp Years.
But the point is, you had these major big hitters.
Yeah.
So even though this is our biggest success story on this show, it still was not enough.
Yeah. No, they like hated this movie.
Yeah. And from what I can tell, there's a couple different reasons.
From what you can tell from your handwriting.
From what I can tell about my handwriting. Because sure enough, I think they were talking about a sequel.
Yeah.
Because it was critically well reviewed.
Yeah.
And it made money.
I have this stuff too.
Oh my God, it's overlapped. Dude, I'm killing it. I'm killing it. So I put sequel was close. It was very close.
Very close.
Now, I got different things from different websites. One website said they canceled it because it just didn't make enough, didn't perform well enough. And I read another one that either DreamWorks or whoever actually owns the IP, because I know it's a little complicated, they couldn't agree on like a story.
Oh,
but I found the money one twice. I only found that other one once.
I found the money one.
Okay, so let's cut that. We're going to scratch that.
You got it.
Yeah, so that's what I have for budget.
Yeah, so to add on to that, what I have is that they basically they were worried that it was going to, because to them, this underperformed.
Yeah.
And
which is crazy.
They were worried that the sequel would underperform because in most it depends on the movie sequel, but in most cases
they kind of
go a little bit, and they were like, if it goes down to anything, then we're
gonna lose money.
Yeah, we're gonna lose money.
Yeah, because again, it made a profit, but like not as much as they were hoping. So I'm gonna throw it back to you.
Okay.
And then, oh wait, I have one more thing about the sequel. I'm sorry, I lied.
No,
I totally lied.
You got it.
Okay, I have again dash kinda sequel equals Hammy's Boomerang Adventure. Did you hear about this?
No.
Let's go. I got a fact. Okay.
Wow.
So this was a DVD extra
Okay.
on Over the Hedge, the DVD you rented. And it was like a little short.
Yeah.
And it's on YouTube.
Probably didn't watch it because I didn't. My
Fair.
parents just like play.
Yeah, just play. It's on YouTube if you're interested.
Okay.
And I wrote the description
Okay.
from IMDb.
Yeah.
Now again, my handwriting is horrible.
You got it. Let's power through
Okay.
this.
RJ the raccoon. I don't know what I said. Raccoon.
Raccoon.
Produces a nature video, which turns out to be an excuse for him and the porcupine children to play pranks on Hammy.
What?
That's the whole of it. That's it.
awesome.
Yeah. So that's like your spiritual sequel. That's the best you're going to get.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's the only other thing that takes place in this universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
See, I'm killing it.
You're doing good.
That's only a page. I got 3 more of these.
Oh God. Okay. Great. so I'll bang out a couple of them.
Yeah. We'll just if I have something to build off. Yeah.
All right. So this was produced by DreamWorks Animation.
Yes.
I don't know if I think we already touched on it.
Yeah, we did.
And it was distributed by Paramount.
Yes.
And it was their first ever collaboration. So
Yes.
this is the first time that Paramount ever distributed, a DreamWorks
movie.
film. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do we know what DreamWorks did before them? Like with Shrek and Madagascar?
As far as distribution?
Yeah.
I don't know if they were self-distributed or if they
teamed up with
had
someone.
someone else. But I was confused because this was distributed by Paramount, but the Universal logo.
Oh yeah, it was at the
came
beginning.
up. I don't know. It's all like muddled. Getting into like film rights and like who
It can be
distributes versus who has the rights to like the IP, and it's a mess.
It is.
And like even learning about it on like the most basic level in my producing class is like driving me up a wall. So it's like,
and that's like intro to producing.
It's intro to it's crazy. Like especially. And now I have kind of a grasp on this just because I'm a crazy Disney nerd. But
no
way. That
doesn't sound like you.
But like especially Disney when it comes to like, dude, there's this rule. Just really quick, super quick side tangent.
Okay.
I think I've told you this before, but this is more for the audience. There's this rule where the Marvel situation with Disney and Universal, theme park wise, is
it's a
insane.
Nightmare. Yeah.
So to make a long story short. It literally comes down to east and west of the Mississippi River.
Which is so stupid.
East of the Mississippi, which is us, so in Florida, Universal has the rights to the rides, right?
Yeah.
So they have their Spider-Man ride at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Disney can't make like Marvel rides. I don't know if that's Marvel Comics or Marvel movies because that's also
Two
a different
things.
thing.
Yeah.
But so Disney is allowed to sell merch based on the Marvel movies, but not based on the Marvel comics.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So Disney's allowed to sell merch east of the Mississippi, but they can't build theme park attractions. And Universal's allowed to build theme park or like have their theme park attractions still. And it gets muddled with the merch because I was under the impression that they're allowed to sell only comic book merch. Like, because when you exit the Spider-Man ride, there's like old Spider-Man comic book merch, which is amazing. But then when I went recently in January, they had like Tom Holland Spider-Man.
They did.
And I was like, this is weird. But so then the other rule is like west of the Mississippi, Universal can't really do much with Marvel. And
it's more Disney
has the Avengers campus and they can do merch.
Yeah, they go crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It makes no sense.
What
It's I don't know
pioneer
who established it.
was like, let's settle this right now, east and west of the Mississippi, and it's gonna be this,
silly.
but you can't do this, but you can do this. It's ridiculous.
It's probably someone trying to screw someone else.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I do have one more thing about the studio.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, did you see who was originally going to make this movie?
Possibly. No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So again, I'm going to read what I wrote.
Yeah.
Originally going to be made by 20th Century Fox.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah, they first had it.
Yeah.
But they scrapped it.
Okay.
Because they had an animated movie called Titan AE.
Oh, heard of that one.
I've never heard of it in my life.
No, neither have I.
And it bombed so bad that they canceled this movie.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why.
So they had the rights to this.
They were going to do it. They're fully going to do it.
Because my next thing is this was loosely based on a comic strip.
I have that too. Yeah.
So I guess they optioned the comic strip and they were in development and then it just kind of bounced around companies and they finally went.
Yeah, I think DreamWorks finally picked it up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, speaking of the comic strip, I have 2 other things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I nailed this.
Great. Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself right now.
This.
Okay, so it is loosely based off a comic strip, but I know they like talked to the writers of the comic strip, like they were a part of making the movie. And actually, do you remember the car joke where it's like RJ and someone else, and they see a car for the first time, and like, that's so big. How many humans does that fit? And he's like, 1. And and that's the whole joke.
Maybe. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that, and remember when Hammy screws up like Rabid versus Rabbit?
Mhm.
Those two jokes are directly stolen from the comic strip. Well,
Oh,
not
no
stolen.
way.
Yeah, they literally lifted
okay.
word for
No
word
way.
from the
That's
comic strip.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So I always thought it was just very loose, but sure enough, like there was
Yeah,
really
they're
specific jokes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like that. Wow.
See, thank you. It's
I'm proud of
whatever. It's whatever.
All right.
I'm just
So this
natural
is
at this.
this is directed by two people actually. Tim Johnson, who is like mainly a DreamWorks guy. He's worked.
Okay.
He's directed a couple things. He's done worked as like a crew member on a couple other things.
Guys, he's a big
supervisor.
DreamWorks guy.
Yeah, the DreamWorks guy. And then Carrie Kirkpatrick. That's the other
Who?
dude or gal. I don't really know.
Okay.
But they worked for Disney, and then I think they left Disney, went to DreamWorks.
Okay.
And then just tons of animation companies.
So
Kind of
mostly
bounced
animation
around.
stuff?
Yeah. Almost all animation stuff.
Oh,
almost
there you go.
exclusively animation
Okay.
stuff, but has kind of bounced around and landed at DreamWorks, I think, for this, but then kind of moved around.
Okay,
But the
so
other guy,
a nomad.
Tim Johnson, almost exclusively did DreamWorks. So that was
Oh,
like his
really?
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's
And then
an
the
in-house
composer, yeah, the composer is a guy. I think he's French. He's not American.
Okay.
I don't know what he's, but his name is Rupert Gregson Williams.
Wow.
He did the score for a lot of DreamWorks stuff, including the Bee Movie, which is a future episode.
1,000%.
It has to be. That's like on my mind, and we got to get
That would
we gotta
be
talk
done.
about that. And I thought this was actually really interesting. He scored pretty much, give or take, every single Happy Madison production.
No
So,
way. The Adam Sandler
Basically,
movies?
anything Adam Sandler has been in, this guy has scored. Anything.
Wow.
From, Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
Billy Madison,
Grown-Ups,
Grown-Ups, Hubie Halloween, like everything, even to
Wow,
now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like Murder Mystery 2 just came out.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
scored
He
that.
did that too?
Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy. Yeah. So that's the composer.
Okay.
So then a couple more things.
Okay.
So this took over 270 people and over 3 years for this film to be completed.
It took 3
I don't know.
years?
Yeah, I don't know if that's with the rights from 20th Century Fox. I don't know if it starts with that,
Oh, could be. That's
ends
true.
with the release or whatever. But
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's no joke.
and then I've written down here that they basically invented the vending machine sequence. Like,
They did?
last minute.
Really?
Like so last minute, because basically they had this film like almost completely done,
Okay.
and they were going through it, and I don't know if this was like an executive note
Yeah.
or if one of the filmmakers was just like, guys, this is ridiculous. They basically cold opened with RJ stealing the food from Vincent the bear,
Oh.
and they were like, he needs a reason to be up there
Besides
Like,
just being a
why-
little thief.
Yeah, why is he? And then they were just
Yeah.
like, all right, let's do the vending machine thing, and then that like became a staple of that character.
Yeah, that's also how it
which
ends.
is awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything?
You're done? I have
no,
so many other ones.
I have a ton of other ones. I'm
Oh.
just kind of bouncing
Okay.
back and forth.
I'll finish the first page.
Okay.
Okay, so I have. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Okay, so RJ the raccoon is voiced by Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
But originally,
It didn't sound like him at all.
it didn't. He did a
No.
good job actually.
Yeah, great job.
But originally, it's gonna be Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Yeah, they were trying to get him, and I think he signed on, but sure, there were scheduling conflicts, and he couldn't do it,
Yeah.
so he had to back out.
I don't know if
then-
that would have worked
Yeah,
if
because
it was him.
he's not like super. He's more goofy than like sly and cool.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell.
Yeah, it might have
that
been
it's him.
distracting.
Yeah.
Actually, I was stunned when I found. You could tell it was Bruce Willis once you know,
Mhm.
but he does a good job. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
And then I have one more not advertising. I have one more
Mhm.
casting one. Oh yeah, I thought this was weird. So I don't know how early in development this was. I don't know if this was like 20th Century Fox or it was DreamWorks or whatever.
Right.
But Gene Wilder was approached for the role of Norbit the Owl. But after he turned it down, they just destroyed the character.
Oh,
Yeah, they just were like, if we're not going to get him, there's going to be no character.
no owl.
No owl.
That's so sad.
There's nothing. Norbit never
Oh,
existed.
I would have loved Norbit. That would have made a great addition to. And we'll get into this, but the family.
The
In my
family.
notes, I just have it written down as the family.
Do you
because
really?
They just refer. It's like, this is me and my family. And I'm just like, yeah, it's the family. It's the family. Dominic Toretto. This
Yeah.
is the family.
Yeah, come on. Actually,
Um,
did you know Fast and Furious was inspired by this movie?
Oh yeah.
That's not a fact at all.
yeah. I have that the art department went to a bowl because we got to get to plot. But
Yeah, I only have like 3 left anyway.
yeah,
So
the art department went to a bowling alley to sketch the design for the perfect vending machine. Right.
did they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they also went to like various supermarkets to sketch like chips,
Like all the food and all
bottles,
that, yeah.
and et cetera, snacks. And they eventually got kicked out of a supermarket because the manager felt uncomfortable with them being there for such a long time.
No
and he was
way.
just like, he was making the manager uncomfortable, and he was just like, get out of here. And they were like, but we just, and he's like, no, leave.
You're being weird.
Yeah.
Like, you're
And I was
freaking
like,
people
whoa,
out. You got to go.
That's so sad.
That is so sad.
And then a guy by the name of David Moorhead, he was an animator.
Okay.
He created reference footage by putting a camera on the back of his friend's dog, and he just let the dog run around his house. And this gave it gave the layout artist some, ideas about scale, animals' perspective, and kind of like how animals just move naturally,
Which is smart.
which is really interesting. Yeah. And I have written down that the critics generally liked the movie.
Yeah, I think it's sitting at like a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, they didn't mind it, but I don't know. People just like don't. Really talk
again,
about
it did well financially.
Dreamers
Critically, it
hated
did
it.
well, and then it just never. That was the end.
Yeah. And then we already talked about the sequel. And that's the end of my notes.
I have 3.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
power
hear it.
through them. So actually, one about the characters and the animation stuff that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Is when they were first designing them, they were going to actually go kind of like the Madagascar approach,
Which was?
like the animation style of Madagascar. Like they were gonna, the characters were going to
I
look like
understand.
that.
Okay, cool.
And then one day, the studio
They kinda
brought
do.
in. They kind of do a little bit. You
yeah.
can tell there's a difference.
Yeah. I think it's more of like a DreamWorks thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then one day, one of the studio heads brought in all the animals that they're using, like real life. Like they brought in like a raccoon,
Oh,
a
kind
turtle.
of like Bambi.
Yeah. And they saw the real life animals and like, oh, these are way cuter than what we have, and they completely redesigned it from like
They're
the ground up.
Evil, like
Yeah,
gross little.
Yeah, they're gonna
creatures.
do like these kind of cruel little animated things, and like, oh
gross
wait, we
little,
need to
like,
restart
pigeons.
this.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad.
So they completely redid it,
Okay.
and I think it
I mean,
held
you
up
can
pretty
cover-
well.
oh, I
Like, it
think so,
looks
too.
really nice.
I really, I have a note that like the anime. I love the anime.
Yeah, it might be our best looking movie
I
we've done
think
on
so.
the show.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 quick ones, and then we'll get into plot. We should bring up that Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, or O'Hara, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name.
I think it's O'Hara.
O'Hara, but they've worked together on like so many different projects. They have like a weird
who are
history,
those
the two of
people?
them. They were the Porcupine parents.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
okay.
Pokemon parents.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, and they were actually the only actors in this entire movie to record their lines in the same room.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone
right.
else did it separately.
Yeah.
So that was kind of
which is
cool.
always interesting to hear, because it seems I'm pretty sure that happened also with Chicken Little. There were 2, or maybe not Chicken Little, maybe it's flushed away, but there were 2 characters that recorded in the same room. And it's
room.
always interesting to hear about that because you would think that either they would all record in the same room
Or
or
none.
none of them.
Yeah, it's weird
not
that
just
they
like
do
weird
specific.
combinations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that one's not as
Well,
weird.
even
so.
you hear stuff like, I remember at the first Guardians, when the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out,
Mhm.
like Bradley Cooper was being interviewed on the red carpet, and he's like, how was it like working with the cast? He's like, I just met him tonight.
Oh wow, yeah.
He never even met him because he's just
Well,
doing
you see
voice work.
that one super famous video of him doing the Rocky
Yeah,
voice.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, glad they filmed that.
Yeah, when you have like stuff like Wolverine, you see like Hugh Jackman doing like all the grunts and stuff.
Mhm,
Like
yeah.
it gets pretty goofy. And then my last note, it's a quote from Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Because the only reason I wrote this down is I was like, I don't think Bruce Willis has ever done an animated kids movie before or after this.
Mhm.
I think it was a one and done for him.
Okay. That makes
I was like, I
sense.
wonder if he had a good time because all the videos I watched, it seemed like it was not a lot of stuff happened. Like it was a normal
Yeah.
production. People seemed to have a good time.
Right.
But here's what he
Okay.
said. This is an interview.
Yeah.
I wrote it down verbatim. I was gonna do a Bruce Willis impression, but I can't.
Yeah. No.
He said about making the movie, it was very nerve-wracking. None of the actors worked together. None of the actors were even on the same soundstage at the same time. No props, no wardrobe. You just had to use your voice.
Huh.
So I think it was a little overwhelming.
Well, I could imagine if you just have a script, and I guess the direction is helpful.
That's true.
But yeah, I could
Not
imagine
even meeting the people. Like, that's
Right,
crazy.
That's rough.
So I have a feeling that's probably why he never did one again.
Yeah.
I don't know if, I think when it came together, he said he liked it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if he liked like the experience of making
Mhm.
it.
I was gonna say he would have been a fantastic voice actor.
Yeah, because he did really
He
good.
did such a good job. He was
Yeah.
like the one standout that I couldn't immediately point out like either who it was
Yeah.
or like if they were doing a good or bad job. If like to
Same.
Out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I had a weird memory of Jason Bateman being in this movie, but he's not
Yeah,
at all.
because you said it the other
Yeah,
day,
I
and I
said
was
it to
like,
you.
and then I closed my door, and I was like, "Am I going crazy?"
I thought he was like the main guy.
No,
I had no idea he was
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
I didn't. Well, to be fair, I didn't either. But I could not. I did
Yeah,
not
I don't know
remember
why I
Jason
thought.
Bateman.
Has
I don't
Jason
know.
Bateman ever been in a kids movie? Did I just make that up?
No. Oh, he was Nick Wilde in Zootopia.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
That's
he
what I
was an
thinking
animal
of.
in a-
He was
an
an
animal
animal.
movie, yeah.
Okay, that makes me
That
feel
guy,
better.
I have cool because the character's name is Nick, and Jason Bateman's like my
Oh.
favorite, and it's a
Yeah, I
Disney
love
movie.
Jason Bateman.
So I got a shout out to our. Actually, I won't spoil it, but Jasmine, my friend from Disney, she got me a shirt that was a light blue shirt and it has Nick Wilde on it.
Oh, really?
And it has some quote on it that I thought was hysterical. I cannot for the life of me remember it. But I like wore it one day when I met a bunch of characters and I was like ecstatic.
That's
so I was like,
pretty
this
cool.
is incredible. All right, going into the plot.
Yes.
So a quick note about the plot. This is one of those movies where not a lot happens. Like, it's one of those things where it's like you have the objective that happens really quickly. Like, you know what the movie is going to be.
From the get-go.
But it's a whole lot of just, like, hanging out and a whole lot of nothing. So it's just kind of like, all right, here's your objective. You get the food for the bear, and then, like, chaos ensues, and then it ends.
Yeah.
So it's
very
similar to Cat
simple.
in the Hat in the sense that nothing happens, but a lot happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's like an hour and a half of, like, nothing.
I think this is just how to do it correctly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just, like, sketch bits. Like, there's actually a plot.
Like stuff
But still.
progresses.
Yeah.
But
So we cold open, which I actually enjoyed. The cold open.
yeah,
With him.
it was good.
Because a lot of kids' movies starts with, like, an introduction of, like, here's the world, here's the backstory, here's what you need to know. They were just, like, they just threw you in, which I love.
Immediately, yeah. Right till he's stealing food.
With RJ the raccoon, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
He's trying and failing to get a bag of chips from a vending machine, and he decides to go up on like this mountain, and there's like a cave, and there's a bear inside.
Hibernation. Yeah.
And he has this like holy grail stash of snacks in the back.
He does.
And he like goes to steal all of them, and he's like about to be successful. And then he gets greedy.
He almost had
goes to
it.
steal like this Pringle type, like unofficially
like
Pringles. We're just gonna call them Pringles. It's like Pringle tube from
The bear's
bear,
hand.
and he like tries to like slip a coffee cup, and I think he
It
like
works.
opens
He
it,
goes to eat one.
and then it wakes up the bear, and the bear like chases him down the hill.
He had it.
Yeah,
Like, he
and
totally could have had it.
and the wheelbarrow, is it a wheelbarrow? No, it's a
It's sort of like red wagon or
wagon.
something.
Yeah, the wagon. The wagon like falls down the hill, and then it lands on the street and gets run over by an 18-wheeler. And the food just evaporates. Which
it
I thought
doesn't
was so
like
funny.
break. It
No,
fully
it just
disintegrates.
Yeah. And basically we find out the bear's name is Vincent, and they know each other.
Yes.
But Vincent says, if you don't get me my food by the time the moon is full, which is a week, and that's the end of his hibernation, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna like kill you or
It's
something
murder.
Like that. He's like, I'm gonna end your life.
Yeah, I think he always says, "I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
Multiple times.
And here's the thing, if he just didn't go for the Pringles, he would have had this wonderful stash of food.
Yeah.
And also, this movie wouldn't exist.
Nope.
He wouldn't have to
Nothing
go
would
through
ever
all this
happen.
trouble.
Yeah.
And obviously it works out for the better
Like,
for
he
him.
was
But like,
so
oh my gosh, he was
close.
so close. And if he just like, and the worst part about it is he goes back down the hill, and his bag of chips like falls.
Oh yeah.
Because he goes to get a bag of chips, and the bag of chips like doesn't make it all the way, doesn't fall down in the vending machine. And then when he goes back down, it just falls down. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" Because he's gonna die.
Got a week to live.
Yeah. So we then get introduced to the cast of characters that RJ ends up recruiting.
Yeah.
So we have a turtle named Vern.
I think it's Vern.
Vern.
Yeah,
Vern.
it's
just
spelled
spelled.
Vern.
Yeah. Vern, who's really worried about the family, which is the characters that I'm introducing now.
Yeah, family.
Starving. Yeah, the family. He's worried about them starving. I guess they came close to starvation that past winter.
Yeah,
and he kind of
He only
emphasizes
had like 6 berries left
right,
or something.
and then he kind of emphasizes they need to scavenge more in order to not go hungry for the future. Which I think at the end he says is like 270 something days away. So they just like need to
have
start
like
getting
most
food.
of the year.
Yeah, but they need to like start getting food now.
By the way, the cast is loaded.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy.
You have Wanda Sykes, you have Bruce
Yeah.
Willis. I don't know who else.
I forget. It's William Shatner's in this.
William Shatner.
I forget the guy who
Tons
plays
of people.
Vern, but he's a
The
famous
two,
dude. If you look him up.
people you're talking
Yep,
about,
the Porcupine
possums.
people.
Yeah.
Do you also know who voices the daughter of the Porcupine daughter?
No.
It's Avril Lavigne.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Which is wild.
But so you have a skunk named Stella, which is
Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
A squirrel named Hammy, which we just completely forgot about.
Steve
That's
Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah. 2 porcupine with their 3 children.
Yep.
And then 2 possums. 3 possums? 2 possums.
2
It's just
It's William Shatner's the dad. And is Avril Lavigne the possum girl? I don't know. I think it's 2 possums.
Yeah.
I
Because it's
forget
the
who
dad
she
and the
plays.
daughter.
Yeah, I think she might
Yeah.
be the possum. I don't know.
Yes, you get introduced to this cast of characters. And then they find this hedge, which they don't know the name of.
Yeah, and
But
also it appeared randomly.
Right, it appeared randomly.
Yeah.
And it's this big, like, glorious thing. It's this giant, like, wall of grass, whatever. And it's terrifying to them. But also glorious. It's wonderful.
Yeah, they're just confused.
And they call the hedge Steve because they don't know what it's called. I just thought that was funny. So Vern goes through the hedge and struggles to navigate the backyard and the street in front of the house that he ends up.
He basically dies.
He pretty much almost dies. That's
okay.
Yeah.
There's this moment, and there's one coming up. I forget exactly what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like 2 or 3 moments in this movie where I'm like, if he was a real turtle, he'd be dead.
Oh, absolutely.
Straight up.
Hi guys, it's Nick and Pelton. We're back on the iPhone recording.
I swear the quality just didn't randomly dip. It's not our fault.
So basically what happened is we set up the recording at WCB, and everything was going really well.
We thought.
And it was, as you have heard for the past 45 minutes and almost, or no, because
It's 45 on the recording, but we always start early.
right.
So it's probably
so
less
it's probably
than
less.
that.
But whatever you've heard so far is
Our best work.
our best work. And from here on out, what actually happened, this is a little bit of a blessing other than the audio quality, because we, as you know, at WCB, we have to, we have a 55-minute show almost exactly.
Yeah, because there's a show right after us that
Yeah.
we need to give them time.
And so we had to kind of rush through the plot of this movie, which we're about to talk about, because we had that time constraint, and Pelton came up with all these notes, as you heard, and we got through, like, personal stories.
These genius notes.
Exactly. And so now we can kind of take our time. The recording got cut off, so now we can take our time and just go through the plot, probably at the same pace.
Probably. But we do apologize for the quality dip.
Yeah.
I know it's not the best, but...
So anyways, where were we? So Vern
Almost
dies.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up, as he said. And then he bounces back through the hedge, and they meet the family. They meet
It's back.
RJ.
The bit is
yeah,
back.
We lost it. I don't know if we said it in this recording.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
just because it got lost, Nick did that family bit like 20 times. Like minimum.
Because it was so good. I said shout out Dom Toretto. I don't know if I
did.
said it. It's fine. But so the family, which is basically everyone
The
minus
what?
RJ. The family.
There you go.
They meet RJ and he introduces them to the wonders of food and humans.
Right. Oh, we're
So-
early on.
Yeah. We haven't
got cut off
covered, like,
early.
any of the plot. Right?
Okay.
So this is so weird doing it on
Round 2.
Yeah. So that was just the outro too. I'm sure I'm gonna cut around all this. But
No, this is all
just the
staying.
outro.
I want people to know how bad this show is. How low quality our production is.
So, they have like this montage where it's RJ showing them like all these snacks and like the humans
Right.
and like this wonderful world.
Yeah.
Right. And so they get attacked by the real estate lady, who we have determined is the bad guy. Or
Yep.
we have now determined is the bad
Yes.
guy.
I don't know if I think we determined it a couple days ago.
We determined it a couple
but
days ago, but
redetermining
we
it.
are redetermining it. All right, we need to stop
referencing
that.
show.
Yeah. This is still the same recording. So it's the real estate lady,
Yes.
and they get attacked by her.
Yes. Yeah, because she freaks out.
Right.
Yeah.
And she gets
she's not a fan.
and the family gets mad at RJ for trying to get them to join his mission.
Oh,
To-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Right.
there's like the tail and stuff. Mm-hmm. I forget if we've covered the tail already. But every time Vern gets like weirdly suspicious about something, his tail starts. Is it vibrating?
I don't know.
Or it tingles? I think it tingles. It doesn't
Vibrating.
vibrate. His whole body's
Oh my
shaking.
God. But yeah, and then Vern is jealous that RJ took such a hold on the family.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stop with that. So the next day, RJ they wake up, thank God, and RJ guilt trips Vern into keeping him around. So he's like, listen, I'm not a bad guy, whatever.
Yeah. Oh
and-
yeah, it's very
yeah.
Toy Story-esque. This
Yep,
whole
yep,
movie.
yep.
Yeah.
And he trains Hammy into stealing Girl Scout cookies, and it goes horribly wrong.
Yep.
So he tells him he puts like whipped cream around his mouth.
Yeah, which is a scene like I remember as a
Right.
kid. It's an
Yep.
iconic over the hedge scene.
And he tells him to be rabid, not rabbit, rabbit.
Rabid. Yeah.
And he goes up, and it goes horribly wrong. But they get them anyway.
I would say they get the barrel, the cookies,
Yeah.
the wagon. I'm
the
sorry.
wagon.
Yeah,
Yes,
they get
wagon,
the whole thing.
wagon. And we find out the real estate lady is the big bad. And
For the most part,
right?
Because this guy kind of, you could argue, there's a couple villains.
There is. I would.
You have real estate lady. You have the exterminator.
the Verminator.
The Verminator, thank you, the Verminator.
And then you have the Bear.
The Bear.
He's like a looming villain.
Yeah, and you could argue
RJ. But we like him. He's our main character.
Yeah, you're meant to like him, but like in terms of who's good and who's bad,
right,
he's kind of like this middle gray.
And then
thing.
like you could argue that the Hedge is like this looming villain.
That's true. There's a lot of villains in this movie.
What did they name it? Steve?
Yeah, I think for like 2 seconds. They call this,
and then they never
referenced it ever again.
So there's another montage. All of our movies have
Oh my
montage
god! I
of
forgot
them
about that.
stealing food, a ton of food. Pretty much
Like
all the food
a ridiculous amount
that our guy RJ needs to give to Vincent.
Yeah, which by the way, they steal like pounds and pounds of food.
Right.
And not once do we have a scene of any human character being like, "Hey, I don't care about the vermin. They're just stealing all my groceries.
Yeah.
Like we're starving."
No, never. Also, they never notice. They're like always sleeping.
Yeah,
and
they have no problem at all.
And then whenever they go to the fridge, there's like no food there.
There's
and they're just
nothing.
like,
There's no chips.
Yeah, no
all
problem.
the stuff they just bought is just vanished.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it's
Like
fine.
the pasta.
Yeah.
Like nothing. How's that possible?
Yeah, and then the real estate lady gets every exterminator in town, all their numbers,
Yeah.
and she calls the number one guy
The Verminator.
the Verminator. And so they go to steal the exact cooler that Vincent needs
for the bear, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and they use the possum as bait. Because, like, the dad possum, like, he's, like, trying to teach his daughter how to, like, play dead. Because, like, that's what
he does it very
possums
dramatically.
do. Yeah. And so he plays dead, and they steal the cooler. They got it. They're good.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they have, like, all of the stuff for the bear,
They have
for
everything.
Vincent.
Because this is the death scene, because William Shatner plays the possum.
Right.
And this is the scene where if you go online, you can see him do the big speech.
Yeah.
You can see him in the recording studio doing it, and it's the funniest thing
which
ever.
is wild.
Because his hands are flailing everywhere, like he's going so intense.
Which is pretty much how I act during the show when we're in studio.
That's very
like
true.
my arms
Yeah,
are
you
always
do.
up and doing some
Yeah.
crazy
I
thing.
warn guests.
We need to you warn guests. We need to film one of the episodes just so you could see that you just sit like that, like just straight up and you talk, and then my arms are just flailing and just going on. Because I speak with my hands. I'm like a very
That's true.
I
Because
always
it's gonna be
speak with my
like
hands.
directly opposites. Because you're flailing around.
Yeah.
And then I'm usually looking off, trying to remember the movie I watched a couple
Right.
hours before
Right.
filming.
And I'm trying to understand my own notes as I read them.
I'm trying to understand
Do you
your
remember
notes.
it was like last week or 2 weeks ago where I like read it was for Flushed Away.
The cursed episode?
No, yeah, it was for Flushed Away where I read the note from my computer like for plot,
Yeah.
and because I had watched it because it was like the spring break.
Oh, yeah, you watched like
episode,
2
and I,
weeks
watched, like, 2 weeks,
previously.
and I was like, I have no idea what part of the plot
That
this is.
happened?
Yeah, and I was like, this makes no
'Cause
sense.
I watched it. I feel like I had to help you. I watched it like that
Yeah.
morning. I forgot about that.
I had like the loose, like I knew he got flushed down, but I don't know who the other guy
Well,
is.
okay, I sympathize so much because I never had that until now.
Right.
And I only watched the movie like 3 days ago, let alone 2 weeks. Like, if you made me do Over the Hedge 2 weeks from now,
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what movie that is.
Yeah. But so they steal the cooler, but the exterminator arrives, which his name is the Verminator. So
Yeah.
this is his big entrance. He has this big like van, and it's like it's like him, and he's like
whack-a-moling the bunny, I
whack-a-moling down
guess?
like a bunny. And
Yeah.
it's like this weird like little.
I don't know if that's a term. I think we just made that up. Whack-a-moling.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
The plural
Yeah.
whack-a-mole. He just bashes down this bunny.
I'm gonna whack-a-mole
And
you.
then doesn't one of the like Vern say like that's gonna happen to us or something like that?
Yeah, I
Someone
think it's like,
says that?
I don't want to
Andy,
end up
maybe?
like that or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Because I watched this movie like years ago or something.
Right. But yeah, so they all escape and they give RJ a new home. So they like create this little like this little like tree house like bunker thing for him, and they're like,
was he
welcome.
sleeping in a tree?
Yeah, and he's like, welcome to our
Do it. Just do it.
family.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go back to Universal over the summer and ride the
That's all you're gonna
Vin
say.
Diesel. I'm just gonna be like, no,
Every
this isn't it. Go watch Over the Hedge, and that's the real family.
That's the real family.
But so yeah, so and then eventually, Vern has had enough of RJ's smooth talk and manipulation. This is how he perceives
Because
it.
his tail has been not vibrating.
Nope,
What's the
wiggling.
word? Thank you. Wiggling.
No, not even wiggling.
No, what is this? Not,
I
it's
just
not
was
either of
messing with
those
you.
two.
No, tingling.
Thank you. Tingling.
It's wiggling.
He's vibrating, wiggling
around,
all over the place. He's going crazy.
dancing around. But so he's under the impression that like he knows. He's a piece of trash. But so he tries to take the food back to the humans. He takes the
full
wagon all the way out, which he's really strong for that, by the way.
He's probably the strongest turtle to ever walk the earth.
And so he takes it out, and then the family dog, not the family.
Oh, right.
But the human family's dog. Family. Yeah. Attacks him, but he's like trying to like play with him.
Oh yeah, because doesn't Vern step on like a little play toy?
Yeah, and he
freaks out.
The dog like freaks out. He's like, I want to play, and he like chases after him, but Vern is like, I'm gonna die.
Which is very true.
This is another instance where this dude's
straight
up
gonna
die. And so, and this also comes when RJ comes out and he's like, listen, he tries to like convince him.
He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like, we need this food. I need this food, but he's not giving up his plan.
Yeah.
And so they get chased by the dog, or I guess they both get chased.
They both do,
right?
yeah.
They both get chased. And eventually, some like nitrous oxide, like oxygen tank, whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
It was I know we said
what was
it too.
It was like this tank of something.
Tank of like gas. You put it in like your gas fireplaces and like a grill.
My dad would be so disappointed.
I know.
But it like explodes and they like get shot up. So they escape the dog, but they like go above like a plane.
Yeah, they go.
So they get shot up into the air.
Yeah.
And I made this reference last time, but I thought it was funny because the plane was green and it was like weird like reference to Frontier Airlines. It's like a budget because they're like flying low. Yeah. But I don't think that's the case. Anyways, I just thought that was funny. In my brain, I like put that together.
This weird green connection.
Yeah, it's like not true. But so then they like fall back down and I don't remember. Did they have like a bag or something? Like how they
like an umbrella?
Oh, it was the umbrella. Yeah. And the food in the wagon lands on the real estate lady's car
and
then just explodes. And then so her
like
car
a
just
nuke goes
blows
off in this town.
Yeah, it's evaporated.
Like,
it's
this
gone.
is one of the worst days in the town's history.
Yeah, but they cannot for the life of them. They do not care about their food whatsoever.
No,
it's all gone. They're all starving.
Yeah, they're starving to death.
Yeah, they're about to die.
They buy like hundreds of dollars of food. Overnight, it disappears. And gotta go back.
Right. And so now RJ, Vern, and the rest of our wonderful family, they...
Wonderful what?
I'm gonna ignore that. They are back at square one.
No food.
They have no food.
Yeah, they're all mad at Vern.
Yeah, they're all mad at Vern.
Yeah.
Because Vern lashes out and calls the rest of the family stupid and arrogant, and he's like, he basically, it kind of like backfires on him because he's yelling at RJ, and he's like, guys, this is a bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen,
my tail's
RJ,
waggling.
It was waggling.
That's not a word. That was real. That really happened.
He's like, RJ, you're manipulating them, and I only know that because they're so dumb that they're easy to manipulate. You can't fool me, but you could fool them, and they're like.
What did you say?
I'm not stupid. And I felt so bad.
It was heartbreaking.
I was like going to cry.
Like, Vern was like a real jerk in that scene. That was no joke.
And like when Hammy was like, I'm not dumb. I was like, oh.
Like, you're not dumb.
It's like, no,
you're
it's
not,
okay.
buddy.
Come steal my food. He's so... I love him. But yeah. And then they're all kind of upset with him, including RJ. He's like... he's continuing he's continuing this manipulation, but he's kind of like, you were kind of a piece of trash.
You're being
I don't know.
A little schmuck.
Yeah, a little schmuck. But so then there's another montage, another one of showing how the family doesn't have food and RJ isn't prepared for the morning.
Who doesn't have food?
God, no, just our family, the family.
You already know.
One more. The family.
Let's go.
Okay. So, because you know how there's like the Vincent the Bear, he like takes the moon and it's a chip. He's like, see you tomorrow morning. Because now it's like the end of his hibernation and everything.
He's coming.
Yeah. And, and then I have a note that like, I really like the Ben Folds music in it. Because this is the montage where one of his songs plays.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like, I didn't know who this guy was.
Yeah, because he does all the original music. He did like 3 original songs. And he's someone like in my wheelhouse.
Right.
Like,
which I didn't know.
I don't know him like intimately.
Sure.
But, like,
his best friend.
Yeah, I call him, what's that? B Folds?
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Folds.
Uncle Ben. Oh no. Ben Folds, we gotta call him. Watch out.
No, but I grew up with his music.
Yeah.
Which is so strange.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wouldn't have even known, because I watched this movie and I didn't put them on, but for some reason captions were on my default.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Yeah.
It said Ben, that's why I put
it said Ben Folds,
music.
and I paused it. I'm like, no. I'm like, that was a different Ben Folds.
It was so good.
It's pretty good.
Start listening to me, 'cause it was
and then
fantastic.
check this out. I found a fun fact. I don't think I said this last time.
Okay.
But for the Ben Folds music, I think it was a TikTok. I don't think she did it like in an actual concert.
Okay.
But Billie Eilish covered one of these songs.
No way.
Not like a Ben Folds song, but like a Ben Folds Over the Hedge song. Yeah. You can
That's
look it up.
crazy.
There's a video of her doing one of these. I forget which one it was, but she
That's
did it.
insane. I wonder if she's a fan.
Well,
I'm
she's
sure
our
she is.
age.
Yeah, that's
it would
true.
make sense.
That's crazy.
Is that wild?
Yeah. Oh my god. We gotta check that out.
She's an Over the Hedge fan.
That's amazing.
I know.
But so then the real estate lady, I wish she had a name. I don't think she ever.
Not one that I
I
remember.
don't like calling her the real estate lady.
It feels
Like-
kind of. I can
like
see
Jan
it.
or
Did she
something.
really not get a name in the
I
movie?
don't know. But anyways,
Hang on.
she
I'm gonna look it
you can
up.
look that up.
Yeah.
But as you do that, she installs literal lasers in her backyard.
Illegal lasers.
Illegal lasers that are installed by the Verminator, and these lasers basically like. At first, it shows that they like evaporate the animals depending on what level you put it on, but then it evaporates them, but then like puts them in the cage.
Yeah.
But then eventually you find out it's just like the lasers just form a cage somehow. I don't know. It's like magic.
It's kind of just like smoke appears and then there's a
then
cage.
There's a cage and it like captures all the animals.
I got the character's name.
Okay, what
her
is
name
it?
is Gladys Sharp.
Gladys.
Gladys Sharp.
Oh, that's a cool name.
And she's
that
voiced
makes sense.
by Allison Janney.
I don't know who that is.
Janny?
Jan.
She's a big actor. She's
Who's
in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Way, Way Back.
Oh, I don't think I've ever.
Yeah.
I think I think I've seen her.
She
around.
tends to be one of those people that you'll recognize her, but you're not sure why.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. But so yeah, then the family kind of like they make up and they're all happy-go-lucky.
Who make up?
And they come together and they steal back all the food. They have like this big thing.
Yeah. They're like, hey,
where
we're
they
going to do this
get
on one day.
all the food back.
Yeah, because
somehow
isn't Gladys Sharp having a big party?
I think so.
Yeah, like
she
we'll
stocks
sneak in,
up.
we'll do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though all the food keeps
I
disappearing
didn't
for
realize
weeks
it was for a
straight.
party. Yeah.
She said there was some line
off
that,
comment. Yeah, that makes sense. And then so the way they do this, right? Hammy, because he's really fast.
Yeah.
He disengages all the lasers, and then Stella, the skunk.
Yeah.
Wanda
Wanda Sykes, yeah.
schmoozes the family cat,
After getting remodeled,
the
right?
human family cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
To make her look like a cat. And then schmoozes the family cat into giving up his collar, which is the key to them getting in the house.
Yes.
So that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And
She does it like within seconds.
right.
She's very
and then
smooth.
I there's a note that I have that there was this hysterical THX bit, like the
Oh,
like the
yeah,
film
with
company
the logo.
with like, and that's like the iconic like early 2000s. I forgot that company even existed.
It doesn't exist anymore,
I don't think
does
so.
it? I think we're out of
but
business.
when that like.
It's literally the sound of our childhood.
No way. Yeah, that's my point. Is like this is the whole reason the show exists, right? Is to rediscover films from our childhood.
Yeah.
That was the whole pitch. And then you get to this movie that is produced by DreamWorks, and I don't know if they have any affiliation, but you hear that sound and you're like, dude. Not only does this look like my childhood, because I remember watching this,
Yeah.
that is the opening sound of my childhood. That's crazy.
It is. It really
was
is.
incredible. But so the I want to say it's the Porcupine Kids. That's their thing. They put on the TV and they accidentally
Yeah.
like
they
light
put
that
on
up and then it's THX.
Yeah.
And it almost wakes up the real estate lady. And then the morning comes and she wakes up, and then the Verminator captures them, right? And so Vern and the family find out about RJ's plan.
Yeah.
So they eventually find
Finally
out
gets
that
revealed.
he is a piece of trash and he's just using them.
Yeah, manipulating the whole time.
Even though, like, over the course of the movie, you see that he actually has become, like...
Yeah, he
a
realizes
member.
that he
Like,
loves it there. He's just like, I
Which
will
happens
literally
in a lot
die.
of these movies where, like, at first they're manipulative. By the end, they're like, oh, I really like you
That's
here.
always
But then
how it
they
works.
find out.
Yeah.
And they have to apologize, and then they make up. And
Yeah.
So it's the same trope, but it's interesting to point out.
Would you use the word cliche? Or is it like borderline cliche?
I would say borderline.
Borderline?
Cliche. Yeah, maybe. But so then RJ's about to give the food to Vincent. So he takes the food and the cooler and the wagon up to Vincent.
to the bear.
And he
scary bear.
gives it to him, and then he has a change of heart.
Yeah, because
And
he sees all his friends
He's like the
driving
Grinch.
off.
Yeah,
His
his heart grows.
Yeah, because
He's on the hill with the
sleigh.
big thing.
Yeah.
Just wow. I can't believe that connection just happened.
It's literally
And his
like-
heart literally grows 3 sizes, and he explodes and he dies.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
No.
Stay tuned
But
for next week.
Yeah, and so he sends the wagon back down the mountain, the hill, whatever.
Right, like really
Right
right,
into
as
the
the bear's
road.
about to get it. He
Right.
ships it down.
and it goes right into the road.
Explodes.
Well, it gets run over by an 18-wheeler. I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh, yeah, it does.
And then it all, or maybe that's the beginning.
no, I think it gets hit by the car. Like, somehow
Somehow it like evaporates. And it's gone.
Yeah, there's just no
Yeah.
remnants of it at all.
And Vincent like gets so mad He attacks him.
He goes to murder him.
Yeah, he goes to murder him.
It's dark.
Right. And he attacks him. He goes up on like the
roof of the car.
On the
everything.
Verminator's car.
Yeah.
And so then there's like this big scene where they make it to like the backyard of, what was her name? Gladys Sharp's house. And all the people are inside of the hedge. And the Verminator and Gladys Sharp are on one side, like trying to tase them, like kill
trying
them.
to kill everyone.
And then Vincent the Bear's on the other side of the hedge, trying to kill them. So it's like all three of them are attacking
from
in
both
the middle.
sides.
Yeah, in the middle of the hedge.
There's
They're
no
about
winning.
to die.
Yeah.
And then what they do. I'm so glad we get to flesh out this plot.
I know.
This
Because we had to rush
this
last
is
time.
lovely that we get to do this. So what they do is they give Hammy caffeine, which he is not allowed to have.
They banned him the whole movie.
Because he's already so hyper. He's definitely ADHD for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And they give him caffeine, which hypes him up even more. And mind you, he already runs really fast.
Yeah.
He drinks this, and everything stops. Like time stops.
We have like a Quicksilver sequence.
It's a Quicksilver scene.
And it's like really
verbatim.
well done.
It's
really cool.
So basically what he does is he lines up the lasers so that he turns on the lasers.
Yep.
And he lines them up so that the Verminator, Gladys Sharp, and Vincent the Bear are all in line because he puts it on like the bear level.
The max setting.
Yeah. And then he like does a couple other things. He like gets, I don't know, like a chip or something.
Yeah, it's like a cookie or something. He eats something.
He eats the cookie. Yeah,
he eats the cookie.
And then he like does a couple other things to like mess with the people.
Yes, yeah.
And then, like, boom, reality hits. The lasers come together.
Yep.
And they explode. None of them die, but they're in this big cage.
There was a lot of dust for a minute.
There's a lot of... Yeah, and they end up in, like, this big hole. It's like a big ditch.
It's like a bomb went off.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, because it's literally so much dust, and you're like, whoa. Like, it was pretty intense. And the whole time, the movie, for some reason... I don't think I've seen this level of it in a kids movie up to this point. Is they really kept being like, we're gonna kill RJ.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna come after you. Or I'm gonna hunt you down. He's like, I will murder you, which is crazy.
It's insane.
Like in most kid movies, you don't even hear the word kill or murder.
Right.
Let alone to this extent.
Yeah.
So when all the smoke and the whole bomb went off, I was like, there's a chance they just died. Did they really just kill 3 characters?
Well, yeah, and it's just... And also, when they end up in the cage... It's 2 people
with a bear.
And they're like pretty
angry
close
bear.
quarters, and he's like starving. He just woke up from hibernation.
True. With no food.
No food. Because
now-
he's like ready to kill this dude.
Okay, if you think about it, it's even worse than that. He woke up from hibernation.
This is crazy.
Starving.
It's a crazy movie.
It's a crazy movie. He's starving, and he walked all the way to find RJ.
Yeah.
Wasted all this energy trying to fight him and kill him.
Yeah.
So he's like exhausted and starving, and he's in a cage with two helpless people.
Right.
And then...
They
Did we ever
must
see what
look
happens
really
to them?
tasty to him. No, I think they die.
They got
That's why the
murdered.
sequel got canceled. Because they just died, and then they didn't want to like have to talk about that.
Talk about how 2 people got murdered.
That's why Over the Hedge isn't in the
DreamWorks logo.
intro.
Because murder happens.
Because murder happens, they don't want to acknowledge it.
They killed 2 innocent people.
Buried this movie because they don't want to acknowledge this.
There's
murder.
an actual death.
This is awesome. But so, in the process, also in the process of Hemi running around, we find out that he fills up the log with nuts for winter. So they get all their food. They don't need the humans' food anymore.
Well, 'cause remember in the way beginning of the movie, he says, "I like buried my nuts for winter, but I can't find them."
Yeah.
And
now
then,
we got
you kind of assume it's like a one-off. You don't really think about it
Right,
again.
they
And
bring
then,
it back.
he was like, "Hey, I found them, by the way."
Boom. And then everyone accepts RJ into, I'll give it one last time, the family once more.
That felt so
and
good.
all is well in the world, and the movie ends. And I don't think we talked about this on the episode, on the original episode, because we didn't have time. Did you watch the post-credit scene?
I did.
Okay.
I was
going to
reference that. Because you missed the
time.
last one.
Yeah.
Was the last one Chicken Little or Flushed Away? I don't remember.
I don't think either.
Which one was the one that had a post-credit scene that you missed? Was it Hop?
I think it was Hop.
It was Hop.
Yeah.
So I was wondering to see if you catch this one.
I did, because you know what? I hovered over the end because
You have to. Yeah, you never know.
Because I did see there was like a longer credits.
Exactly.
sequence.
Yeah, I was like, something's going on here.
But so do you want to explain what happens?
To be honest, I don't remember. I know the.
Neither do I. That's why I passed it off to you.
Okay, my memory of the end credits.
They're back at the vending machine.
Yeah, the back of the vending machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of them this time.
Oh, I remember.
Don't they get everything?
Yeah, so basically they put in the numbers.
Yeah.
And then every single thing comes down and they're
Flooding
like, great,
out.
we have so much food for the winter. And then they realize
they
because
can't
all the
open it.
things come down, the little like push to grab your thing.
There's too much weight. They can't push
They can't
it.
get through it, so they can't even reach in to get all their
Right.
items.
I
So
did
now they're
forget about
screwed
that.
again. And
Over
it's
the Hedge
like,
2.
Over the Hedge 2.
Too much murder,
The
though.
one with murder. No, sorry, the one without murder.
Yeah, we swear there's no murder in this one.
So you want to get into final thoughts? You want to start?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember my final thoughts were at this point.
Well, what do you think?
My memory of this, of watching Over the Hedge, especially compared to everything else we watched, was it was good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think it was better than
Right.
Chicken Little or Flushed Away.
Yeah, because we differed in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think you liked it more. It's not my favorite one we've watched, but I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Probably
So
not
this-
willingly,
Right.
but I guess someone put it on, like Chaos Culture Over the Hedge. I'm like, okay,
Do
sure.
you think it holds up in compared to what you thought of it, like when you thought of it as a kid? Like
I
when you
thought-
thought about
yeah.
it, like a nostalgia wise, do you think it holds up in comparison?
Probably not.
Okay, by like
Yeah.
how much?
Barely.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
'Cause not like a Shark Boy and Lava Girl. type
no,
thing.
it's
Right,
not like
right,
my
right,
nostalgia
right.
was great. Then I watched this. I'm like, what
Yeah,
was I thinking?
yeah.
Like I watched
it's like
it
almost. It's just like a little bit disappointing.
a
to you.
little, yeah. But it is good. Like it is a good movie.
That's fair. I think for me, I think it holds up a lot better in my opinion.
Oh, really?
So I
Okay.
like because remember I went on that whole tangent about how I couldn't think of what company made this.
Yeah, it's just this weird
It's this
DreamWorks
weird like
thing.
one-off thing. I couldn't
Yeah.
figure out what it was, but I think thinking about it like that and then rewatching it, it's better than what I remembered.
Okay.
Because I remembered flashes of like the characters' faces, but nothing really about the plot.
Which was me. I remember like the whipped cream and all that.
But
yeah.
then when I saw like the plot play out, I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty well thought out plot. I thought it was pretty cool.
It is good.
Other than the fact that they go through the hedge and never once over the hedge.
Not
Maybe
once.
once when Vern gets like launched over the
But
hedge.
that doesn't really count.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because I remembered it differently. And then I think I liked it more than Chicken Little, possibly. It's like definitely
It's close.
Yeah, and tune in to our final episode to see how I end up ranking them.
Little hint. We'll talk about that more next episode.
But hopefully if we have time.
Well, good point.
Yeah. Anyways, I liked the character tropes a lot. I thought they did a really good job at like balancing a bunch of different personalities.
Yeah, which is true. Yeah, that's
which I
very
really
true.
liked because you had like the two porcupine parents
Yep.
and their three kids. They were all pretty unique.
Yeah,
and
you got
then
the skunk, Wanda
skunk,
Sykes.
You got the mean old guy that comes around, which is Vern.
Yep.
And you got like the heroic,
Like smooth talking.
yeah,
like Chris
Nick
Pratt-esque.
Wilde kind of guy from
Yeah, yeah,
Zootopia.
yeah.
We were talking about that.
They do a good job on the ensemble part.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. I think the personalities mix really well, and I love the animation style. I thought this animation style held up the best so far, to me.
I think I'd agree with that. It holds
Chicken
up
Little's
better
like
than-
almost there.
It's
Flushed
close.
Away, not quite.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. This one I think is
It
the
probably
best animation.
looks
I
the
love
best.
it. Yeah, I think it looks the best for sure.
I think it holds up the best animation wise, but I think also could probably. Yeah, I think every movie we've done, it probably looks the best.
Yeah,
overall.
I think so.
Because
I
Shark
think
and
so.
Lava Girl looks horrendous.
Yeah.
And then like stuff like Spy Kids and stuff and Hop, like it's kind of aged a little bit. It
Yeah,
aged poorly.
yeah. I think this one definitely holds.
Yeah,
up
this
the
you
best.
could put this on and you could tell if I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, this came out 2 years ago.
Right.
I'd probably
be like,
believe you.
okay, that
yeah.
makes sense. And one final thought about Over the Hedge.
I can't believe this got greenlit.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sticking around for the last like 25 minutes.
Yes, again, sorry about the
of
quality.
This horrible audio
Yeah.
quality. I hope that this ending that is a little bit more fleshed out, a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, you guys wouldn't know any different unless you tuned into the actual
So
live.
my dad and your grandpa.
Exactly.
That's about it.
So hopefully this felt a little more like we had a little more breathing room, like we could talk about the plot a little more. Hopefully that worked out, and it was good for you guys, even though the audio quality is a little bit down, right?
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening. Tune in next week for Turbo with our
Yes.
very special guest, Jasmine Brownell. Which Jasmine, if you're listening, even if you're not listening, it's okay because I'll talk to you about this next week. But I'm worried that I mispronounced her last name. So Jasmine, if I did that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You told me many times you have no idea how to
No
pronounce her
idea.
last name.
I'm just guessing here. Love you, Jasmine. See you next week. I'm so excited because you don't know who that is.
This is another Disney person, right?
It is another
Yeah.
Disney person. We'll get into that next week. But yeah, thank you all for listening. This has been I Can't Believe This Got Greenlit, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya!